Okay, we are live now. Okay, so let's start. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all. This is Toastmaster Javeria. Okay, we are live now. Yes. I am. Okay, so let's start. Why am I'm just hearing my name again? Assalamu alaikum. Good evening to all. This is Toastmaster Javeria. Okay, thank you, Javeria. Okay, so this is Toastmaster Javeria, the director and coach of the Vision Toastmaster Club, and I welcome you all in the amazing and very informative session of Vision Toastmaster Club. And as I reminded by my Toastmaster Lena, president, but before I introduce the team, I just want to invite the president of Vision Toastmaster Club to have few words with us and to welcome all the guests and participants and members of the Vision Toastmaster. So please invite with me. Actually, not Toastmaster Lena. We should start with our Sergeant at Arms, Mohammed Ismail. So just describe a virtual rules and regulation for the Zoom meeting. So please invite with me Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Ismail.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Mohammed Ismail, and I will be the Sergeant of Arms for tonight's meeting. I welcome you all to this special meeting of the Vision Toastmaster Clubs. The mission of our Toastmaster Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before starting the meeting, I would like to remind you of 3 ground rules. Please silence your mobile phones. Please refrain from talking about topics on sex, religion, and politics. And finally, please mute yourself and unmute only when you speak. With this, I announce this meeting as open and hand over the stage to our president and great leader, Toastmaster Lena.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ismail, Acting Sergeant at Arms, for the grand opening of today's meeting. Dear Master of Ceremony, ESCOM members, fellow Toastmasters, district and division leaders, distinguished guests, good evening. Welcoming to another inspiring meeting of our Vision Toastmasters Club. As President, it is my honor to kick off today's gathering and see the tone for what promises to be a memorable and enriching experience for all of us. Toastmasters is a place where we come together to hone our communication and leadership skills, support each other in our personal and professional growth, and create a warm and welcoming environment for learning and development. Each meeting is an opportunity for us to challenge ourselves, learn from one another, and celebrate our achievements. I encourage each and every one of you to actively participate, whether it be through prepared speeches, impromptu speaking, evaluations, or simply by offering words and encouragement and support to our fellow Toastmasters. Remember, we are all here to learn and grow together. Let us embrace the spirit of Toastmasters, where mistakes are welcomed and opportunities for improvement. Feedback is given with kindness and respect, and every voice is valued and heard. Let us make the most of this meeting by engaging fully. listening attentively and supporting
Only it's me, or nobody can share her?
It's, I think, her. Toastmasters Lena's net problem.
Oh, she's frozen. Okay. So should I continue? Okay. Meantime, she's coming back to join us. I just want to welcome our new guest, Toastmaster Hamoud and Ityam Nazir. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Okay. So I think I should continue because we are not so much time. Okay. So today we are actually celebrating Environment Day. Today is the 5th June. So and today our theme is to highlight the importance of environment these days, as you all know. So today is the World Environment Day, celebrated every year on 5th June. It's a global event to raise awareness and take action to protect the environment. And in 2024, particularly for this year, the theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. So I just want to share small slide with you, so you will get to know exactly what is the this year theme. Okay, so you can see. So this year the theme is, as I mentioned, land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. If I just explain these themes quickly, then land restoration means that repairing and improving land that has been damaged or degraded. This can involve planting trees, improving soil health, and making land productive again. Healthy land is important because it supports wildlife, helps grow food, and can store carbon, which helps fight climate change. Then second element of current year theme is desertification, which happens when the fertile land becomes desert due to factors like climate change and human activities. It results in the loss of plant life and soil quality. And the third thing is drought resilience. Naturally, all these things are interconnected. When we have desertification and land restoration, naturally, we will have to face drought resilience, which is about preparing for and coping with the periods of low rainfall. Due to climate change, as you all know, so there is so much global warming as compared to the previous years. So this can include using water efficiently, planting drought-resistant crops, and having plans in place to deal with water storages. Being resilient means communities and ecosystems can survive and recover from droughts more easily. So what we can do, just the action plans, I will go quickly. That World Environment Day 2024 encourages everyone to take action. This can be as simple as planting a tree, conserving water, or supporting policies that protect the environment. Every small action contributes to the larger goal of a healthier planet. By focusing on land restoration, preventing desertification, and building drought resilience, we can protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. And in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, I have seen that they are making the Riyadh Green project. It's a huge project, and on every road, actually, most of the traffic is because of this. They are planting everywhere. So I cannot say anything. I cannot bash the traffic because naturally green trees are very important these days. So this was our theme. So now, without wasting more time, I just want to invite our master of ceremony, Toastmaster Khalid Zulfi to, okay, our president is back. Ma'am, I have introduced the theme. So now we have to move, with your permission, to our master of ceremony.
Yes, you can call.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please invite with me the Vice President Education of Vision Toastmaster Club. So he will conduct today's workshop with our presenter. So please invite and put your hands together for our Vice President Education, Vision Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Khalid Zulfi.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for this lovely introduction. I'm really so honored for this introduction. And I'm your master of ceremony today and your timer, and whatever role I can take, I will so do it. Start before this workshop, I start preparing the agenda on the last minute, and this is the beauty of us as Toastmasters. Whenever any role given to us, we are ready to take it. We never hesitated to say no. With that, without a further ado, I'm going to introduce today our presenter, Toastmaster Ashik. He's a friend of mine, and I'm really sorry I gave him a hard time during the vision of contests. When I changed the agenda more than 10 times, then that's out of our hands. So everybody put your hand to our presenter today, Toastmaster Ashik Mazir. Sir, welcome, and the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khalid Al Zulfi, and my valued guest today for today's presentation. I welcome all of you. I'll be thanking you, all of you all, for taking your valuable time to spend some time to find out the most valuable skill we all wanted to learn in our life, like public speaking, any other skills in this world. With that, I hope my voice is audible to all of you all, no?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Let me share the screen. Is the screen is visible?
Let's see.
I hope the screen is visible for all of you all, no?
Yes, it is. Let's see that.
For today's presentation, what I'm planning to do is, give me a minute. Reshare it again. Okay. Okay, the screen is visible for all of you all. So what I'm planning to do is, we will finish within 30 minutes, all the presentation, what of the main things with regard to the negotiation. And we will have, after the presentation, we will have a constructive discussion where you can ask questions, and we can have a fruitful discussion so that we will able to understand what is all about the negotiation. Because let me jump into that, and the negotiation, like any other skills, what we have to learn in our life. We may give prominence to public speaking in Toastmasters. Likewise, we may give, there are other skills other than the public speaking, like for example, a listening skill or any other, have a conversation. That is also another skill, because today we lack all these element of the skills that that make us perform our in our profession, or it may be in our family life, to not to the optimum level. So we are being compelled to learn these skills so that we can perform in whichever the scenario. Like in this case, in negotiation. Today, negotiation skill is a common thing, even though it is a vital skill for all of us to learn. Because it may be that we may be having a small negotiation with our own children. Maybe they may be we are going out and they wanted to buy. They are insisting, or they may be adamant on certain time. The small children will be asked you to buy certain things. How you able to convince your children to accept what is best for both of us? That is also a form of a negotiation. It can be a negotiation with our own spouse, maybe, or it may be in our company scenario. So these are all type of a negotiation. What we are been looking into is, when you negotiate, what the end result should be, we have to be the deal should be fair enough for both the party, not like one person lose, another person wins. That kind of scenario, or compromise for both person lose, or either nobody gain anything after or just a walkout. It maybe end up in a negotiation. Sometime it go to an end where you have an extreme consequence of personal conflict and taking to personal things may end up in. Not avoid all these things. We must be able to learn this skill so that we can manage the process, which avoids all kind of the consequence, which may be a negative to us. With that, let's move into our. So what is negotiation mean? Is there are so many aspects of negotiation we may perceive, or we may be thinking about. Like, for example, maybe for some people it may be a competition or cooperation, or there'll be a way, or your way or my way or third way like scenario. Or negotiation can be like a bargaining power, like more or less. Like, for example, when you go to a shop and you're going to buy a thing at a low price, you give one price and the other person never accept, and you try to bargain and try to get who gets the better what share, that kind of scenario. Or it may be understand, and sometimes you negotiation we may expect understanding of each parties and respect. And sometimes it turn out to be a battle rather than an act of discovery. We must always, negotiation should give a scope, a good relationship building, and people should understand it. And there should be a patience and persistence are part of the negotiation. And sometimes we have to diffuse. You may be in a scenario where we have a negotiation due to the some conflict, maybe. So you have to diffuse a negativity in that to have to reduce that impact of negativity, so that the relationship should not be damaged. That kind of scenario. Or we may be solving a problem we need to, or even arbitration, we go for a negotiation. So today's agenda, we may be covering all these areas of under the negotiation, like definition, type of negotiation, and negotiation impact, influence, and barriers, and principles, and negotiation concept, all these areas. Because what we are going to do here is we cover the overall understanding of what is negotiation, what are the subject. It is not just a word of negotiation. It's just not a bargaining in what we do in our shop, or what we with your partner, or even in a job salary negotiation. And negotiation is a vast area. Within 30 minutes, we able to grasp what is negotiation, what are the depth, so that you can further develop by searching for additional information and sharpen our skills further on that. With that, let me go into the definition. The definition of a negotiation is, it's basically the main result of the negotiation should be it's a deal, the best possible deal, where the both parties have a win-win scenario. That is the main thing we are looking into, possible way without any problem. When the end of the negotiation, there should be a benefit for the people involved in negotiation. It should be a fair deal for both parties rather than a disadvantage to one and advantage to another. So the type of negotiation today, there are 4 types of negotiation we have been looking into. Like, for example, a negotiation can be a scenario where you end up in lose-lose scenario, where the both parties lose, where you see sometime in a negotiation, both parties never give up on their demands and end up in a scenario lose-lose, where you have to sometimes you have to go away from without further negotiation. It's a lose scenario, or it may be a win-lose. One party lose and another party. It's a bargaining where you give in compromise in such a way that you give up certain things and the other party wins. And the third scenario is a compromise where both the parties excessively compromise their scenario, so nobody get a benefit out of it. It's a minor benefit given to the parties concerned in the negotiation. Finally, the win-win scenario. This is the ideal situation we have to aim for in a negotiation, where both parties benefit, I would say, better off from the time you started your negotiation and the ending. The result should be, they should be in a better off position from the time. Otherwise, there is no purpose of negotiation. So, when you see the impact, for example, when we have a different 4 type of different scenario, when you have a negotiation, like for example, it may be any scenario you're taking into. So you have one type of what you call as a collaboration, where you win. We wanted to win. That is a scenario we are looking into in the basis of assertiveness and cooperativeness, where you have a bargaining in a matrix. If you put into, see, this is a scenario we look into in a negotiation, but it may end up in where your cooperativeness is low and assertiveness. When the one party is pressurizing, both the parties are being so hard in competing to get a major share. It is a hard scenario. The win-win become a very hard scenario. It may end up in damaging of relation. Sometimes you see after negotiation, it may be a business scenario. You end up in losing your own business partner, or it may be a stakeholder or a supplier or thing. Because of that, such a it gone to a personal level, it is no more. You cannot approach that person for any level. Even even a good friend can turn out to be a person you cannot talk further on this matter. It's like such a hard. It does turn out to be a very hard negotiation, end up in damaging the relationship. The worst scenario we are talking about is we give a lot of excessive concessions, like because you try to accommodate, so you want to understand other person, it goes to such a level you are so soft and other party try to take a advantage of a scenario. Here we are talking about the soft, the area is what you called as the one party lose, another party wins. That is the accommodating scenario, where you want one party is definitely the loser on turn out to be. Where the assertiveness is low, the cooperativeness, you wanted to cooperate other party, you don't try to understand, but you at the cost of losing all your benefit, which should be, there should be a fairness in that. The last scenario is avoiding, in the sense where you feel a scenario that it's a walkaway situation. You think that a scenario where you are currently what you're standing in the position is much better than the going to be end up in negotiation. So the both parties are not giving up on a certain demand. They are being demanding to stand on that particular point of view. They're taking a stand where you know where to negotiate. So it's definitely avoiding or you walk away scenario is that. So the main option here is the collaborate. We all wanted to collaborate, understanding each other. We must have to compromise, in the sense we must understand each other and try to work out a scenario where you have to be able to achieve a win-win scenario. So in order to achieve these scenarios like the win-win, how we achieve? But there are three factors we have to influence us in a negotiation. In negotiation is basically where the peoples are involved. So we have people components are there because the people is not an we are talking about a people mean you have a culture, emotions, perceptions, a different type of people have that particular attachment. So the people have all these elements to them. So you must understand the people involved in and these people have a greater power and influence on the negotiation. Which kind of, for example, if you're going to negotiating a business contract with a bigger company, for example, if you say like an Aramco or any, they have the power. That particular thing give them the leverage for them to demand what they want from us. So in the meantime, the other party also have a certain thing, pricing and all these things. So each party have their own balance, and you understanding the people involved in a negotiation is a critical factor. The second component is the process. How you go through the process. Process means, for example, you have what you called as the is it urgency or is it a relax? And is it a very close things, very important for a company? For example, it's a crucial contract for a company where you can't lose that particular contract in the whole. It depends. All your business are depend on that particular contract. It may end up in dissolving a company. That kind of scenario comes. That is an that's an importance, and the urgency of the for that particular thing is how important to the. These comes under the processes. What kind of process we involve, how lengthy the process is there in a negotiation, what are the things we are going to go through, is it a complicated one, is it simple, is there technical involved? These are involved in the process of the negotiation. The third one is the problem. Any negotiation, it can be an issue to solve or the problems to solve, some sort of a thing we have to negotiate to solve these and end of the term, where it can be a sharing of the benefit or whatever the end result are going to be. So these three, the people and the process and the problems, are the key influence of a negotiation. That's why they call it as a 3 P's of negotiation. So in any negotiation, there are barriers to negotiation or the limitation we come across. For example, always the negotiation requires a lot of preparation. So sometimes we never do a proper preparation of thing, as I explained to you in this process, people, process, and problem. What the stress here is, we have to prepare ourselves for a negotiation. If you don't prepare yourself and not knowing of people involved in the process, people, what are the process involved and the problems, what you're going to address in the negotiation, that information, the lack of information will lead to you won't be able to achieve that win-win scenario. So the barriers to negotiation we are considering of, it's an overconfidence. Either party can have an overconfidence. They take it very lightly. The lack of confidence, one party feel that it is too much, we have to give in. That kind of scenario they go into a negotiation. That is a minus point to the negativity, the lacking of empathy. Like for example, in a negotiation, you should have you must think what the other parties priorities, what is the important, that information is necessary. Why? Because if it is not only your issues, your processes and your problems are here, it's involved. It's in other parties, you have to think in other parties' shoes as well, because we must understand the other part. Then only that negotiation become a win-win scenario where both parties were better off after the negotiation. If you go with your own perception, own thing, only you're looking into your perspective, then the negotiation will not have that desired impact. And as I said, unprepared and a lack of trust. Because the negotiation, please remember, negotiation is a one type of a relationship building. Because initially, the relationship, if the relationship is good between the parties concerned, as I told, the people are involved. When the people are involved in negotiation, we must able to think the emotions, their rational thinking, all these processes are into that particular thing of negotiation. So you have to have good relations to have a better trust. So if your barriers to negotiation is the lack of trust, your negotiation, the end result of a negotiation is going to fail, because if you don't build your trust initially, the people has to trust each other, then only they will agree on that particular solution or solving a problem. And as I said, the cultural barriers are there, because each party relates certain things. They give preference to certain things, their behavior, the human perception of others, each other's thing. And these all come into this lack of trust and barriers to cultural barriers, how we think about all these are into this part of the negotiation. So in part of negotiation means there are certain elements we have to focus on if you want to make this the negotiation is a more effective and more beneficial to both parties. For example, one is we must think about there is an issue versus person. Always in a negotiation, we always concern about the person. But that is a very wrong perception of the negotiation. Negotiation is all about the issue, it's not about the person. Why I'm saying is not about the person is because if you think it's even though the people are involved, the focus should be on the issue. Because if you are focused on the person, it will end up in a negativity. If there is a disagreement, it will may cause a damage in the relationship, and it will even may separate a person. It is an emotional damage it may cause. So you better in any negotiation, the focus of a negotiation should be issue, not the person. We must be able to then only the relationship always remain even though there are disagreements. The second thing is interest versus position. In any negotiation, if you see the people take positions, I want this, I want this much, I want the quantity, I want this. It may be for any sales negotiation. Let's think about of scenario. Two people when you're negotiating on we will say this particular 1 kilo, this 1, 2, 3, 4 benefit. I want this particular, I will offer on this. So the is basically a position based. When you have position based negotiation, it's a very difficult to iron out and bring to an agreement. Rather, if you focus on interest based, because when you interest based promotion is much more flexible and people can able to iron out certain issues, because problem in a negotiation each person has their own interest. When you try to understand the position of the interest of each parties, for example, they say if let's say two companies are negotiating to purchase orange, let's say orange. See, one is a perfume, maybe a facial or a perfume company. Another one can be a company which is making juice, for example. For example, if you are taking orange, the orange is it has a skin as well as the pulp or the juice. So the orange making company may target at the juice content, and the other with regard to the perfume or the person who making a facial cream or what kind different type of human creams, they can even use the skin of the thing. So I'm here, what I'm bringing is we have a different interest. So when you're negotiating based on the interest, you think then the negotiation is much more flexible, and we try to agree on a solution to the issues we can get a better deal of. The third scenario, we talking about we always talking about the solution to the problem rather than the criteria. For example, when you're in a negotiation, are we able to ask, are we asking the other party, what are the criteria they're looking into? For example, each person has the different criteria. For example, I want this because of this particular specification and all this. See, these criteria gives you more leverage for us to negotiate in a different way by agreeing on this. Sometimes we may not agree on a particular solution. We can, a part of the solution, we can come into without the criteria, or you can be changing your criteria where flexibility is concerned to arrive at it. These informations are very critical for all of us, for in the parties to the negotiation. By understanding the criteria, that gives you the main thing to arrive at a solution. You can compromise on certain criteria. You can give, okay, you understand the other party, and you can give, say, okay, I can agree on this particular criteria. Why don't you try this so that it will maybe, so you can give solution, counter solution to them. Here, what we are talking about, the criteria is a counter solution. We must know other parties' concerns so that we can agree, finally arrive at the thing. And the options, for example, we cannot go into a negotiation with one type of, I want this, we want solution. We have not a single, we must have an option. For example, when one particular point is failed, and we may be able to go into another option. In the next four options, we must fall in line so that we can compromise on that particular thing. The main purpose here is, what we wanted is the both parties should be beneficial and a win-win scenario. In order to achieve this, we have two concepts we must be able to learn in negotiation. Why I'm saying the options, and because in any negotiation, we have any parties concerned, there is a upper limit and there is a lower limit. It may be a buyer, it may be a seller, in either party is concerned. That's why these two concepts are very important. One is called the BATNA, the best alternative to negotiation agreement. What you mean by BATNA is, like, for example, when a person wants to buy a car, and let's say he wanted to buy at 10,000 riyal. The person wanted to sell the car at 15,000 riyal. That is the buyer's thing. So here we are talking about the maximum limit here is 15,000. The buyer wanted, and the seller wanted to the buyer wanted to buy at 10,000. The seller wanted to 10,000. But the seller always have a lower limit in which he won't drop beyond this particular point. For example, let's say he want to come down to around 8,000 riyal. He wanted to sell. He is no problem. He may ready to sell at even 8,000 riyal. That particular low point for the seller is what he called as a BATNA, the best alternative. That is the last price we thinking about. Likewise, the buyer who wanted to buy the car, he may be quoting at 10,000, but he can go up to the point of 12,000 riyal. Doesn't matter. He says, okay, I can go up to 12,000. A person asking that 15,000, he'll drop to 10. If I quote 10,000 only, he'll come to 12,000. That is in mind. It's a 12,000. So you are talking about 12,000 to 15,000 is the area called as, so here the point is the 12,000 here is the, for the buyer's BATNA, that is called the best alternative to negotiation. He can go up to the point of 12,000 to achieve that particular sale. So we are talking about the BATNA is the both point we are talking about here is 8,000 for the seller, and whereas 12,000 for the buyer. So this 8,000 to 12,000 is supposed to be called the zone of potential agreement. That means in that particular 8,000 to 12,000, the particular sale is going to happen, or the negotiation going to be concluded. That's why we call it as a zone of potential agreement. This is further explained in this particular scenario. If you see this, the buyer and the negotiation, as I told you, in the buyer, what is the lowest point? He comes into the highest point. Sorry, the highest point the buyer comes into in order to conclude the sales, as well as the the seller will drop the price to a level in which so that the sales can that particular that is called the best alternative for the negotiation agreement. It's called for each the buyer and the seller have a different BATNA for them. In that particular BATNA is only called the zone of preferential agreement. So that is called the in which the sale is going to happen. This is the main area of thing we must be able to understand. You can go further in YouTube and all. You can get a depth idea of that. This is a basic understanding we must know in a negotiation. Why I brought this subject here is, but for example, one of the crucial factors in negotiation is we must be able to understand their preferences. What are these lower limit and what is these upper limit? All these things each party should be able to understand through a good negotiation, through a better relationship building, by gathering information, because the information is very crucial in any negotiation. The more that you understand another person, it gives you an advantage and get a better deal out. Otherwise, you will definitely, the parties concerned in negotiation will definitely suffer the loss in either any other way. It may be any terms. So that negotiation is a wider variety of, it is not in only price and quantity we are negotiating. There are so many aspects to, like it's the condition, the preference, the benefit we are talking about in service sector. You're not seeing any product or anything. It's a service. It is an intangible. You can't feel it. It is actually the service component. There are a lot of things involved in that negotiation. That gives you that advantage. That's why I think we have to get a lot of information before making and start negotiating on the subject. So all in all, I would like to say that a negotiation is, as the particular quote says, we all know this particular quote by the Sun Tzu, the famous thing. You must know your opponent and know it's all about you know yourself very clearly and the opponent, whoever the negotiator is. So you don't need to fear the result of it. So if you not know your opponent, you only know the thing, mean you will lose on the process if you don't understand the other party's concern. That's the empathy plays a bit. And you will always suffer a defeat as well. When in negotiating, you have to give in and give take, like that of scenario is here. So if you don't know anything, you don't know yourself and you don't know, closing your eyes and without any preparation, you go into a negotiation. It's a totally a disaster in negotiation. In the sense, you will never able to get anything what is fruitful of a better off position you want to achieve through negotiation. That is the final thing. We must be able to remember always remember negotiation is a skill which anybody can learn. It is any other skills in it's very crucial for ourselves so that we can able to negotiate and get a benefit out of the negotiation, so that we are not end up in unfair deal. It will be a fair deal for both of us, and end of the day we are better off position after negotiation. That is all what we remember in our negotiation. Therefore, I would say the negotiation, we must understand the other parties as well and try to prepare yourself and be patient. In negotiation, patience and perseverance are more crucial important. So in your touch, if you are in a hurry, if you are not giving enough time for negotiation, you won't be able to achieve the desired result. It may be for both parties. With that, let me conclude this the presentation, and we can go for any negotiation. If you have any questions, you may ask me so that I can clarify further on that. I hope you understand the basic concept, but you can further learn further onto these things about these concepts. That will definitely be valuable for each one of us.
For the question answer, session. Let me just present the certificate of appreciation of presenter today, Toastmaster Ashik. We did this one because I will send it to you later. So inshallah, it will be the certificate of appreciation. Thank you, Toastmaster Ashik. After that, now let me.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Khalid Al-Zulfi, and the club president, Toastmaster Lina, and Toastmaster Zaveria for this wonderful opportunity.
That now I open the floor for any question and answer.
Toastmaster Khalid, if your voice, I feel I'm not hearing your voice clearly. Actually, if you can raise your volume, it will be much better.
Can you hear me now?
Much little better. Okay. I think. Okay.
Okay, so DTM Nazir raised his hand. I think he has a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Ashik
alaikum
Nazir.
salam.
Ashik Nazir, thank you. Thank you for a very informative presentation. Now, my question or my elaboration is like this. I got the impression from you that when we are going into the negotiation process, that we have to anticipate that we don't get the whole pie. We have to give up some of the pie. Somebody has to be like middle way. If we win 50%, that means I'm successful. But if I only win 40%, I have to make up for another opportunity for negotiation. So I will accept the 40% and then move on for another position. Is that true?
Okay. Thank you, DTM Nazir, for that wonderful your question. I would say, see, in negotiation, it is not about the share we are talking about. For example, 30, 40% or 30%. It's based on the interest we are talking about. Sometimes what happened was when you're negotiating, the pie you're saying maybe 100% you're targeting. It may grow. There is a ways and means you can make that pie into 100 into 200 as well. There are certain things, elements we added on that the pie can be much larger as well. So we are talking here is based on the interest rather than the amount, like for example, 30 or 40%. It's based on the interest of the people concerned, what they expect. Each person comes with expectation. It is not based on the number. The other factors are all involved. So based on that, we reach an agreement on how much we share and amicably on that basis of the value concern, we are going to share that. That is the main focus of that is, I would say, interest rather than particular position we are talking about a number of percentage, I would say. I hope it is answered your question. So if you offer the clarification, you can.
Yeah, I agree. But let's not. I know we don't want to talk politics, but let's say that now there are two parties are fighting. You know, in a war. So they have partners coming to make an agreement and negotiation. Now we know that everybody wants to take the most of the benefits. They will not give up. So in this respect, that means some of us will be at least a loser. He will not get the 50 or above %. True?
Yes, I agree. There are certain negotiations. As I explained to you, if you see that there are certain scenarios we compete with it. As I say, compete, collaboration, there are different type of negotiation. If you're going to compete like for percentage, like instead of sharing amicably, the both parties going to lose up that end of the day. Or it may be one party going to win with more share and other party is lose. So the end of the day, what will going to happen is the party, it is not one party won't be better off after negotiation. You may think why I gone for a negotiation. That is the end result going to be.
Thank you so much, our leader, Ashik Nazir. And I want to just extend my thanks to you for the SATAC because you are working everywhere. and
Thank you.
trying to help the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
take,
Thank you
take
so
care.
much for
Take care.
this.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Toastmaster Hamoud, you be.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you for this informative presentation. I just want to add one comment from my experience in the project management. When you have a negotiation with a contractor usually smart. They check your scope of work and your contract, and they will identify holes in the contract. Okay, then they will be flexible with you in the negotiation until they get the contract. When they get the contract, they use the holes, okay, and they will compensate their value they are looking for. So this is part of the negotiation. Identify the weak points in the contract or in the negotiation that you can compensate your negotiation results. That's all.
Yes, thank you so much. As you said rightly, yes. The main thing is information plays a crucial role in any negotiation. That's why we must be we well know about the other party before entering a negotiation, so that it is the main objective is we must be better off. We should not be by understanding more about negotiation, we be fair to both parties concerned. That we must keep us remember. So when you understand more about the negotiation, then the empathy and we understand each other and all plays a role for a win-win scenario. What we are aiming is win-win scenario. Rather than we don't want the other parties to lose and we get the person to one party to win on that particular thing. Is there any questions?
Toastmaster Khalid, we cannot hear you. You're not audible at all. Initially, we were listening to you little, but now completely blackout.
With regard to the presentation, I'll share with the presentation with Toastmaster Zaveria so that you can share with the group members so that they also have the presentation so that you can you can research and you can learn more about the negotiation.
Okay, so I think there are no questions so far.
Yeah, one more question. I would like to ask a question.
Yes.
And first of all, congratulations to Toastmaster Ashik for conducting such an insightful workshop. And I would like to ask you one question. You have mentioned that when anybody can learn this negotiation skill. And as we all know, each skill can develop through constant practice only. So how can we practice this?
See, the best practice that we have a lot of scenario in a home front. For example, by questioning. For example, let's say when a child comes and asks you, I want this particular thing, I want a chips packet, or you may say, I want a fast food. Like for example, as a parent, we know that fast food is going to be harmful for child. If you're going to eat like once in a way, it's okay. But if you're going to give the child the fast food, so how you will divert the child from that particular habit of fast food, and how you delay, how you give the other alternative you give to them to change their decision. These are all skills the practicing moment. Likewise, in a scenario, for example, in a work, let's say, for example, when a person offers, sorry, yes.
No, please carry on.
Okay. So what I'm saying is in a work scenario also, for example, let's say there is an offer coming to you, for example, or your salary negotiation. When you say no to a certain things, it will end up in definitely go for a negotiation. See how these are scenarios we can practice a lot. You can delay a certain things, a solution to the problem through a negotiation. So these opportunities we have in our life, so many opportunities are there. So you can practice in that particular scenario to by asking questions further and try to understand the other party and try to develop that skill, that negotiation skill automatically will come into your life. You'll be improving day by day to a better negotiator. I
Thank
hope
you, Toastmaster
Toastmaster
Ashik, for clearing the doubts.
Lena understand the subject. I think I answered her query on that.
Any questions or any?
Yeah, thank you so much.
That I end up my role.
Calendar's back. Yay.
I'm back, yes.
Okay.
Hello, hello, Rao.
Toastmaster Rao is there.
I think he has a question. He turned on
Yes.
his video. Oh, now something is coming. Toastmaster Ashik, get ready.
Yes, I'm expecting that.
I believe with that.
Thank you everyone. Nice.
Yes, Rao. Yes, teaching Rao. With that, I end up my role as your master of ceremony and timer, and with that, go back to our club president, Toastmaster Lena. Toastmaster Lena, we go back to you. So thank you, our presenter, Toastmaster Ashik, for this wonderful presentation, and I hope everybody learned from this. And I believe if there anybody will go back
Thank
to
you.
our yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Khalid Al-Sufi. Toastmaster Javeria, could you please allow me to turn on my video?
Did I? I did not change any sharing. I mean, you cannot turn on your video.
Yeah. I'm not able. Yeah. You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Really?
Okay, no issues. Yeah. Okay, no issues. Next, move on to the felicitation speech by our distinguished guest, DTM Narasimha Rao.
There was a request from Toastmaster Fawad, I think. Fawad, he wanted to ask a question. We can answer. You can.
Yes, Fawad. No, anybody else? No, anybody else is facing this issue for not turning on the video? Or
Not
only
me at my end.
No issues. Maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Ashik. It's a pleasure to see you after a very long time, and
Okay.
it's always good to hear about people who've got experience in their professional life. So let me introduce myself. Basically, I'm related to automobiles, and I'm working for Mercedes-Benz, and it's my routine to catch on to clients every day. So the thing is, I wanted to ask you, there are times that I feel that I'm not able to convince some customers to get out from the face of untrustworthy, I must say, right? Because our services are top of the class and the expectations are very high. So the empathy from our end is equally important. But I feel sometimes that negotiations, especially for the repairs of cars, it actually gives us some trouble at times. What do you suggest? Do we need to be more empathetic, or do we need to be quite straight to tell them what is happening with their vehicle straight away? Like maybe the engine is blown, it's of a high cost, and if I straight away run to the topic, maybe it will be upset. Like what's going on. So do you feel in my professional, like routine, should I adopt a proper routine practice that's to change this?
My best suggestion is, Toastmaster Fawad is, for example, there are conflicts will come in any forms. In doesn't matter. You may be having a best product in the world. Sometimes the customers are, sometimes they may be demanding. As a human, you have different type. People have different, as I said, the people concern is you have a lot of factors involved around the people. Like, for example, the emotions, sometimes they are not good mood. Like, it's a natural human. You should understand the human being is a different, he may be acting in a different way in a different position. The best thing is in the higher end market is a relationship plays a crucial role in any sales. In sales or in maybe in any negotiation, a relationship. How far that particular customer is so close to you and how he understands the thing, it have a better, he can understand. Other than that, it's very difficult. Sometimes we have to have a patience, be a perseverance. Sometimes he won't be able to listen in a scenario which is he's in under pressure on certain circumstances. It may be fall into scenario. So it is basically we have to bring in like listening skill. We have to listen to him and we show some empathy is there and all. There are certain scenarios we cannot compromise on certain grounds, and certain time we have to convince him to compromise on certain of his demands as well. It's a negotiation is like compromise on certain grounds so that we agree on a best fit for each other. So all in all, I would say it's a relationship is a key role to play here. And that's why we, in a negotiation, initially the building a relationship is more crucial than the sale or whatever thing should happen is much more better scenario, so that everything is the conflict can be easily handled thereafter if there's any issues like that. I hope I clarified your point.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Okay. So, Toastmaster Khalid, I think we should conclude the session.
Okay. I hope tonight everybody learned the art of negotiation from one of our pillars of District 79, Toastmaster Ashik Nazir, and all the role players and people who helped and people who have attended this session.